Hey guys, Matt here with another episode of the JaYoe Nation vlog. I'm at a very interesting courtyard style house in Shaanxi, and I'm going to tell you a little story about this place because it's very interesting. Just to give you a little introduction to the courtyard houses as we walk through. Courtyard houses are very special and a very Chinese style of living. You start with the entryway. When you come into the outside, you enter the entryway. And then you enter the main lobby area, which is this long stretch before you get to the courtyard style house behind the actual courtyard. Let's go into the courtyard and I'll tell you a story about the guy who owns this place. So this is a fairly small village in Shaanxi. Are we in Xi'an right now? Yeah. In Xi'an. And the guy is a construction magnate and he's an entrepreneur. He started here in this village. This is where he was born. And so over the years, he became very wealthy and built his construction company from humble beginnings. Now, he wanted to give back to his community. So as his company grew, his village grew. He provided work opportunities and jobs for people in the village, and the village succeeded along with him. So he kind of became somewhat of a local hero. And he became wealthy, and everybody in the village that he grew up in, all of his neighbors and friends and family, they all elevated along with him. And so he's become uber wealthy. He decided to take a piece of land in his old community and build a traditional style of Chinese courtyard house, and he built it in his old hometown. Now, I'm going to give you a tour of this place and look at all of the facades, look at all the land, look at all the construction techniques, look at everything. And everything in this entire place was built for 10 million RMB. So think about that. Think about what 10 million RMB could buy you in the States or wherever you live, where you're watching. And so I'll give you a little tour of his courtyard style house. So now this is the courtyard of the courtyard style house. One of the defining features of a typical Chinese courtyard style house is your water feature. He has this water drum basically that sits in the center. Now in olden days, the idea of having water in the center of your courtyard was two purposes. One, it was good luck. Obviously you have the water feature, there's goldfish, there's all sorts of connotations to that carry good vibes and good luck and good energy to the house. The second thing, the actual practical purpose, was that a lot of these courtyard style houses were not as concrete as this one. Like this one obviously is laid out with a lot of stonework, but most of the time you'd have wooden structures that would make up the courtyard, and so it was very brittle. A lot of opportunity for things to light on fire. So it was important to have a large water feature in the center of your courtyard just in case something lit on fire. Of course, today, obviously, things change, and I'm sure that there's a lot of opportunity for plumbing to go in this place, and he's modernized it. I mean, you have all sorts of interesting things. The whole place is laid out pretty interesting, and then you have like a little satellite dish that's like hot glued to the roof of this style side of the courtyard. Now, there's all sorts of interesting directional elements in courtyard style houses. The far wall, the east, the west, the north, the south. So I think he's taken some constructive liberties on how he laid out his courtyard style house. But we can take a look and actually see, this is his main room. This is, I think, probably you're going to have a bedroom on this side or through this door here, but I'm not 100% sure. But what you do have here is a study. Now this is a really, really interesting layout for a Chinese study. Very, very traditional. First thing you notice is that you have the Chinese chairs. These chairs, I'm sorry, they are extremely uncomfortable chairs. These aren't your lazy boys that you sit and watch Sunday night football. These are very, very solid wood, beautifully carved chairs that are designed to sit and talk to your buddies, or sit and hash out problems. I've been to Tianyige, which is the oldest library in China. It's over 1,000 years old. It's in Ningbo. And there is a setup very, very similar to this, where the owner of the property would sit down And he was almost like a judge and jury, where he would talk to people and delegate punishments and things to people that would come in, and he ran a whole thing. There's a whole story regarding that, but it's very, very interesting. Then you have the tea area here, where he can sit down and drink tea with his buddies and his friends. And then all around here, you have interesting collections that he's probably put together over a long period. Here's a little reel-to-reel JaYoe right here, this fancy JaYoe, along with some old military ordnance, and a scabbard, and an old picture. This is him, actually. This is him in the, I don't know where he is. I think he's in the old place when he was just getting this place built. This is him as well. He's not here right now, but he's given us an opportunity to look through his place, because he's proud of the place that he's built and the place that he lives. So you've got, well, I'll be at 5 minutes, okay? So, yeah, you've got all sorts of stuff. This is a very special type of Chinese pottery. And I'm guessing that it was made in Jingdezhen. Jingdezhen is a very famous city for making pottery in China. This is also very interesting. Tea, in some ways, is good fresh right off the plant, but sometimes they compress it and they age it, and over time it sort of ferments, and it increases the value of the tea, and it becomes a little bit of an art exhibit in itself. And so you have this tower of tea, which it doesn't look like much, but if you smell it, it smells really good. And this is expensive tea. Holy moly. I don't know how much this tower is, but I've never seen compressed tea in this sort of quantity. It's very, very interesting to see. And then obviously you have his area where he gives thanks for all the good blessings and things that have been hoisted upon him in his life. And real quick, I'm going to take a look at the back, and then we'll go, okay?
And we are going to see another one.
Which way?
I don't know, but that one is under construction.
Okay, let me finish this.
Okay.
I'll find you. Okay. So now we've finished the master room here. But what's really cool, and remember, this whole place, everything from the really fine brass doors, the carved door stops, the really nice brickwork and the tile work, and even the really, really interesting artistic flares. This whole thing, 10 million RMB. I'll leave, obviously, below. You'll see how much that is. He's got a shed here where he's constructing, I don't know what he's doing here, but he's got some furniture in there. Then he's got the garage where landscaping can be, and where he can park some of his cars and vehicles. Then you have a greenhouse where has a little hobby where he's growing some greenery and some plants and things like this. And a lot of that stuff probably ends up out here behind the courtyard, where he's got a Zen garden, you'd say. Of course, next to the Zen garden, he's got a full basketball court. Well, you got to entertain some of your hobbies, right? Maybe if they're not so Asian. And so now we get into the Asian garden, and this is a beautiful walkway that I'm sure is abiding by the principles of feng shui. He has a really, really nice little water feature with some fish. You smell, and the thing that you smell is this pine tree, which just, you could smell it. The whole area has this really nice pine scent. A stone little bridge here that goes to a little gazebo, which is quite nice. I see there's a bunch of fish stocked in the pond, and he can sit here and play some Chinese checkers if he wants to with his friends. And let's cruise around the little pond. Now, obviously, we are in the dry season, so there's not so many flowering plants. It's a little bit less than lush, but that's simply because it's first of all, it's still under construction. They haven't quite finished it yet, and second, it's the dry season. As a matter of fact, this wall, I gotta imagine during the wet season, that wall is beautifully lush and full of vines that are just covering every nook and cranny. Another little bridge which in itself is symbolically feng shui, I'm sure. And you've got a little waterfall here that when the system's going, it's doing well. Yeah. Yeah. Hello. And then I think right here is a stage. Let's check this out. I think this is probably where he might have some entertainment. It's wooden floor, and then you've got a nice little circle here that's put in with brickwork. Really, really nice little secondary gazebo, I guess. The thing about this is, this guy who helped the entire village kind of raise itself up to an elevated state. I'm sure that some people really appreciated the work that they were able to be provided by this guy, and he seems to be pretty well appreciated throughout the village. He's built this beautiful structure, this beautiful property for 10 million. I'm curious, if you had a choice to build a property, would you build something like this? Would you build a large courtyard style house in the style that he had? Or do you think that you could build something to this size and degree in a place where you live? I personally think he got a lot of bang for his buck building this place in a place like this. Quite interesting. I'd actually like to know what's going on over here. Okay, that's probably a bedroom for the kids. I saw kids' furniture there. And on the other side, what are you watching? Dining room. Pretty cool.
You're pumping that content out.
I'm pumping it. This is Barrett. If you haven't watched, this is Lee
Hi,
Barrett.
guys.
Yeah. We are cruising around this area and checking out things. And
You're telling them about the rich guy that had this.
yeah, I'm talking about the history behind this place. It's interesting. Okay, we got to go. We're moving on to the next place. I just thought I'd take you on a tour because I always get a kick out of these courtyard style houses. They're very, very beautiful, and they're just the different types of levels of living for different types of people. I mean, I don't know, courtyard style living. I don't know if that's really my cup of tea, but it most certainly is this guy's cup of tea, and he's able to fulfill his dream and support his community along the way, from what it sounds like. So, to me, that sounds like a real win-win. All right, guys, take it easy. We'll be churning out really interesting stories and content as I travel through Xi'an and Shaanxi. If you want to hit me up, do so on my Patreon. I've got a bunch of podcasts you can listen to on there that can keep you updated as to what's going on. This video is probably... Hello. This video is probably a month delayed, but if you want to hear stuff currently... Hello. If you want to hear stuff currently, you can go to my Patreon and listen to that. Otherwise, just hang out and wait for the next video. Take it easy, guys. JaYoe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. But now it's the end of the day. We're going to eat some food, and we're going to eat some traditional Xi'an food. Meat. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is what's good.
I can eat that all day and twice on Sunday. Wow. You don't see this as being this fancy from the outside. Long day, just chilling out. Oh, yeah. Thank you, way fun. I want a hookah. I want a hookah. Just, oh, I like hookahs.
It's focused. It's already fixed focus, so you gotta move back.
We'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna have to stick this whole video together later, but right now I'm more interested in this.
You're allergic to sesame? Like, there's a lot of good food in China made of sesame. You're really passing up some good stuff. It's a little bit more tender and falls apart a little bit off of the chopsticks, but it is very good.